What I am about to tell you will shock you to your very core. It will make you question everything in your life. It may even ruin your image of this fantastic television show called Knight Rider that we all love. Are you ready? Okay, here it goes. There was more than one kit. I know. What you once thought was one truly amazing car was actually dozens. Alright, now of course, if you've followed this channel for any length of time, you already knew that the show had to employ many Firebirds and Trans Ams to bring KITT to life during its 4-year run. Now, viewers were supposed to think there was only one KITT, but even back when the show aired, if you looked closely enough, you could see that that was not the case. So that's what we're talking about today. Today we are counting down the top 10 times we see more kits than we were meant to see in a scene. That is a very long title. These were all goofs during the filming that allowed more than one kit to be in the scene at the same time. By the way, the car episodes don't count. That's car, not kit. And you'll also see a couple of appearances where, well, we aren't quite sure if it's another kit or just a stock Trans Am. We'll let you guys chime in the comments as to your take on it. And hey, if you enjoy this content, consider joining our Patreon community. It's a group of Knight Rider superfans that get early access to all of our videos, behind the scenes photos, exclusive access to our Discord server, discounts at knightriderhistorians.com, and more. I even answer your questions in future Knight Rider videos. So consider joining Patreon. All right, let's get going. The top 10 times we see more kits than we were meant to see in a scene. Our Black Friday sale is going on now through December 2nd at knightriderhistorians.com. Enjoy $10 off each license plate, no limits. Buy a hat, hoodie, jacket, shirt, or license plate, get a free soundtrack download, $5 off replica crew trucker hats, and spend $100, get 5 free digital products. Check it out now, knightriderhistorians.com. Only good now through December 2nd. Number 10, Night Strike. In Knight Rider's 3rd season finale, we see Michael and KITT trying to track down some stolen guns. One of his suspects in the theft is a man named Tom O'Malley. It becomes a running joke throughout the episode that Michael is unable to track down O'Malley, but he finally does at the very end of the episode. Although O'Malley was cleared from the crime, Michael did wonder out loud to KITT as to his whereabouts throughout the entire episode. Michael and KITT drive off from the hotel, and if you look in the background, you will see another KITT car. But is it actually a KITT? The reason we have this one at number 10 is because this could very well not be a KITT, but instead be David Hasselhoff's personal 1983 Recaro Trans Am. This 83 Recaro Trans Am was given to David by Pontiac in exchange for David making personal appearances at various car shows throughout the country. And we know that David owned this car until about January of 1985. This episode was filmed before that. It does look like the car in question has gold trim and the Recaro rims. Still, we wanted to include this one as a number of people over the years have noticed this car and have questioned whether or not it truly is a KITT car. Number 9, Custom Kit. In this episode, Michael and KITT investigate the theft of classic cars, to include a rare model on loan to Devon by a friend, the Pennington Ascot Regency. The investigation leads them to a classic car show where Michael meets car owner Carrie Haver. It's not long before her car, which incidentally is actually one of George Barris's creations called the Barrister. Anyways, it's not long before her car is stolen and Michael takes off to chase the thief. Kit self-activates to pick Michael up, and as they race off to give chase, you see another Trans Am in the background behind the tent. Now, just like our previous entry that we just talked about from Night Strike, this car may not be Kit after all, but rather, once again, David Hasselhoff's personal 83 Recaro Trans Am. This one is a little bit harder to tell because the car is so far away from the camera and obscured a little bit, but I do think I see gold trim and the gold Recaro rims. And thanks to behind-the-scenes photos from the filming of this episode, we do know that David's Recaro was on set. So what do you guys think? Is this a Kit or just a lonely stock Trans Am? Number 8, Sole Survivor. One of the most popular episodes of the series. Sole Survivor is a story about a villainous woman named Adrienne Margot who works with a young computer whiz named Randy Merritt to steal Kit. Their plan is a success, with Randy taking control of Kit's body and disposing of his CPU in favor of one that he built himself. There's a great scene in the episode where Randy is remote controlling Kit's body, and he's performing a bunch of stunts and 180s, and that scene climaxes with a spectacular turbo boost over Adrienne in her Rolls Royce. During the approach of that jump, if you look in the background, you can see a line of cast and crew vehicles to include what's most likely David Hasselhoff's motorhome, a crew van, some crew trailers, and if you look behind that crew van, you will spot another Kit just sitting there waiting for his time to shine. Number 7, Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. In this episode, Michael and Kit join an alternative fuel race to help find out who has been sabotaging the competition. As Michael and Kit gather clues from the various participants, to include a young magazine reporter named Liberty Cox, hence the name of the episode, they eventually figure out that 2 men named Sellers and Shaw are the ones responsible for the sabotage. Michael and Kit figure this out during the last leg of this alternative 2000 race, and they jet back to the finish line to apprehend these men. A chase gives way at the finish line when Sellers and Shaw get in their van to escape. During one part of this chase, the van rounds a corner, and in the background you see the tail end of Kit, which is interesting because Kit is currently chasing the van in this scene. In fact, a second later, with the scene not even cutting to a different angle, we see another Kit chasing the van. It's interesting to note we also see a blue car carrier in the background. I don't know if this is one of the car carriers used to bring the Kit cars to set or not. I believe the car carriers that they used were actually white. I mean, I know they were white, but maybe they used a blue one too. If any of you guys worked on the show, let me know. Love to know. Number 6, The Pilot. Going back to where it all began, The Pilot, the first episode. This is, of course, the origin story of Michael Knight and Kit, and throughout the course of this 2 hours, we see Michael and Kit in various situations. One of the most exciting parts of this episode is when Michael enters Kit into a demolition derby. We see Michael, Kit, and his passengers Maggie and Buddy, no last names, pulling up to the Saugus Speedway on the day of the derby. On a side note, rest in peace Saugus Speedway, which was just demolished earlier this year. As Michael and Kit pulled to a stop outside of the track, take a look in the distance and you'll see one of the other Kit cars with its driver's door open. This is one of the 4 cars that they had to film The Pilot. We know the car in the foreground is the hero car, and it doesn't look like the second Kit in the background is the roll cage jump car. So that leaves either the backup to the hero car, which is one of the ones we own, or the general purpose stunt car. So it's got to be one of those 2 cars. Number 5, Blind Spot. Next up is the season 2 episode Blind Spot. Michael and Kit get sucked into a car chase after an evidence drop at a shopping center goes terribly wrong and an innocent pedestrian is shot. Michael and Kit weave through the traffic to catch the shooters in this memorable scene. Besides seeing a screen-used Herbie Volkswagen in this sequence, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of the Herbie historians have said it's from the movie Herbie Goes Bananas, but I digress. Anyways, besides seeing that Herbie, if you look in the background, you'll see another Kit parked on the side of the road. It appears that this car has a white board or something across its hood. I could be wrong, but this leads me to believe that this might be the insert car sitting on the side of the road, the same one we currently own today. Now, it doesn't have cameras or lights attached to it, but that's my theory anyways, because in order to mount those cameras and lights, they would always run a board across the hood right in that location. So chances are the people in that screenshot that are right behind the car sitting under that green and white umbrella, and some of the other people along that road, and maybe even some of those vehicles, they're probably all part of the Knight Rider crew. Number 4, Junkyard Dog. Alright, now we're starting to get to the really interesting dual kit appearances. In another fan favorite episode, Season 3's Junkyard Dog, Kit is seemingly destroyed when he's dumped into a pit of corrosive acid. The damage to Kit in this episode is so severe that the team that reconstructs him have serious concerns as to whether Kit will ever be the same again. During the first phase of the rebuild, the team sends Kit out to a test track, still wearing his gray primer from the rebuild process. Now, Kit fails the tests that have been given to him and is sent back to the lab for more work. Once that work is complete, Kit is sent back out onto the test track, where he passes with flying colors. Well, mostly, all except the concrete wall. Anyways, it's during the second test where we get glimpses of not one, but 2 other Kit cars. In one brief scene, Kit speeds around the corner, and in the far distance, we see another Kit still wearing its primer from earlier in the episode. A few seconds later, Kit is still on the course, and if you look in the distant background, you'll see a black Kit parked behind a van. This episode used so many Kit cars that it's no wonder that we spot multiples in the background. Number 3, No Big Thing. This one might be one of the most obvious dual kits in a single episode. In No Big Thing, Michael is flung into a situation after Devon is arrested on trumped-up charges. Michael, along with a young lady named Carol Reston, who he meets while investigating, uncover a large corruption ring involving the justice system in the small town of Lyndhurst Flats. One of the sheriffs calls on a trucker friend to run Michael and Kit off the road using his large semi. As the scene begins to unfold, there's actually an aerial shot of Kit driving through the California countryside. Take a look at this scene and you'll see Kit driving on the road, passing another Kit that is parked on the side of the road. 2 Kits literally beside each other that somehow made it into the episode. At this point in the series, No Big Thing still only had 4 Kit cars at the time of filming, but honestly it's just too far away to determine which 2 Kits those are. Number 2, Night of the Rising Sun. Alright, while Night of the Rising Sun is not very high on the list of episodes that people like, well, at least it's not high on my list, there is a great scene where we see 3 Kits all in frame and all at the same time. Michael, RC, and Kit are all at O'Brien Industries when they got word that a group of stealthy ninjas are trying to kidnap O'Brien's adopted son, Coy. Michael and RC race to another building on the compound where this is taking place. As they pull up to the building, take a look in the background. Besides a police car that really shouldn't be there, we also see one of the Universal Studios box vans, as well as 2 additional Kit cars. I can tell you that the car in the foreground is one of the T-Top stunt cars. In fact, this T-Top stunt car has been around since early Season 2. And knowing the other cars that were on set during the filming of this day, I would wager a guess that one of the ones in the background is the hero car, and the other is either the hardtop stunt car that we've talked about or the right-hand blind drive car. Interestingly, Michael and RC get out of Kit and start to engage with the ninjas, and a few seconds later we see that the 2 Kit cars in the background have disappeared. Alright, before we get to our number one entry in our top 10 times we see more kits than we were meant to see in a scene, I really should have come up with a shorter title, we do have an honorable mention. And this honorable mention takes place in the episode Nightmares. So why is this one an honorable mention, you may ask? Well, technically, there's not two kits in the scene. However, there is a kit in the scene where there shouldn't be a kit in the scene. You see, in Nightmares, Michael loses his memory of being Michael Knight and reverts back to his former identity of police officer Michael Long. Michael is separated from Kit when he leaves the hospital against medical advice. April, Devin, and Kit work to try and track down Michael. Meanwhile, Michael is wandering the streets of Southern California, lost and alone. As he walks past a parking lot, one of the Kit cars just happens to be parked in that lot, and Michael walks right past him. Now, obviously, this is a goof, as in the episode at this point, Kit, Devin, and April are still trying to track Michael down. So, while there's not two kits here, I still think it's worthy of a mention in this countdown. And finally, drumroll please, the number one entry on our top 10 times we see more kits than we were meant to see in a scene comes from the episode Mouth of the Snake. Look, I get it. Mouth of the Snake is not everyone's favorite episode. It's certainly not my favorite episode, but it definitely ranks higher on my list than a lot of the episodes that came late in the series. Besides having one of the best scores for any episode of the series, Mouth of the Snake also boasts one of the coolest Easter eggs ever in terms of kits that should not be there. Michael and Kit are sent to the California-Mexico border to investigate a reporter's mysterious death. Michael teams up with the reporter's widow, Joanna St. John, and the two of them go back to her hotel room. When they open the door, they find a mysterious man named David Dalton, who is ransacking the place. He escapes, and using his extraordinary physical prowess, he leaps onto the hotel's roof and gets away. It's during this brief scene where we see this fantastic Easter egg. Take a look in the background. You will see not one, not two, but 3 different kit cars, along with the car carrier used to haul them to the set. We also see 2 of the Universal Studios crew trailers that were taken when they filmed on location. These trailers house their mobile special effects department, wardrobe, makeup, and more. All of this can be found in this brief scene where we get this wealth of Knight Rider goodies. Well, that about wraps up our countdown. I hope you have enjoyed the top 10 times we see more kits than we were meant to see in a scene. I hope that's the last time I have to say that. I'm positive that we missed some. Are there any other scenes in the show that you can think of where we see more than one kit at a time that I might have missed? If so, put them in the comments below. I'd love to catalog those and archive them. As always, thank you so much for watching. And by the way, if you have any other suggestions for top 10 lists, we love doing these, so put those in the comments below as well. Thanks again for watching. We will talk to you soon.
Hello friends, it's me, Kit. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.